You're still watching Prime Morning, and it's time for us to delve into what the newspapers have for us. That's News Flash segment. We know you always watch us, and we appreciate it. And we know you always send in your messages. We'll try as much as possible to read all your messages. This time around, let's try and do Facebook as well. You know, we can do it, can't we? So you just go on Facebook. We're streaming live. Just hit the share button. Let everybody on your timeline enjoy it and read and leave your comments. Sorry. Please leave your comments there. Make sure you know that we know that you are participating. We want to know that you are there. So even if it's a greeting, good morning, you can greet your whole family. So you say good morning to my mother, my father, my sister, everybody. We'll read it. Let them represent live on air. We want to hear from you this morning and sending your messages to us on WhatsApp as well. So if you can't do Facebook, you can come on WhatsApp, but we'll appreciate more messages coming in on Facebook. Sending your messages to us. This segment is proudly brought to you by Franco Trading Enterprise, still phone, papa, pair, fee, and we all urge you to go to Franco Trading Enterprise for all your gadgets. It's a mobile phones, television sets, CCTV cameras, microwaves, air conditioners. I mean, every gadget you can think of, we have it. You can actually download the app on your phone, which is Franco Trading app, or visit our website, www.francotrading enterprise for more details. Franco Trading Enterprise, still phone, papa, pair, fee. Now, our topics this morning, actually, we are talking on the BECE issue. We know that the children started the examination yesterday. We've spoken to some of the children, want to know how it's been like so far, you know, the high. They wrote English yesterday. I remember when I wrote my paper, English was one of my favorites, and I got one. And I'm proud of myself, proud to say I got one. Yesterday, they wrote English, today they write another paper. However, there have been some development as well. We look at last year, where there was a registration of 600,000 persons who registered, or over 600,000 persons who registered last year. This time around, there's a decline in 5% of that. So we are looking at 569,000 persons who registered to write their examination this time around. What actually happened? You know, we want to know, and so we'll definitely get to the bottom of it. Maybe it's not anything alarming, or if it's alarming, then of course the government will definitely see to it to make sure that next year the student will have more students registering to write their examination. And then we delve into the SNIT hotel saga, where SNIT is saying that these hotels are making 60% losses, hence the need to sell these hotels. They are saying that some of them haven't paid dividend since they built them, and so they have to sell it. And also, they've tried all they can to make sure they can revive it, but unfortunately, nothing is working. We'll delve into all these topics, but let's hear your voice this morning on what you think about these issues. We'll definitely appreciate to hear from you. Let me introduce my guest to you this morning, of course, Honorable Timothy Awantim Atabuade, who represents the NDC. Last week he couldn't make it, but this week he's here. Good morning, Honorable.
Good morning, Rosalind.
How are you?
I'm doing well, and we thank God for his mercies and favors, for giving us good health and life that we are here. We thank the Almighty God. And I want to also say good morning to you and your hardworking team, and to all our viewers out there. Last week, certainly I couldn't make it because I had already given a pre-announcement. I'll be in the constituency, apparently to attend a funeral of a father and uncle and a son of the Bulsa North constituency. In fact, Bulsa, for that matter, Upper East region. He has been a retired public servant, very decent, hard-working parent who passed on. So we're there to give him a befitting burial. I want to use the opportunity to thank all those who came and made the funeral a success. I came back safely, and here we are today. And Rosalind, your topics are very interesting, but let me use the opportunity to if you may give me the chance to thank President John Dramani Mahama for the encounter he had with the press at the Kempinski Hotel, I think on Sunday evening, apparently telling the people of this country and the whole world about his vision, what he has for the people of this country, especially the youth. We've seen across Africa, for that matter, areas like Kenya that have shown the youth resistance the type of politics that we have on the continent. It is for him to take over and to ensure that that cynicism, that the loss of hope by our youth and politicians is going to change with his vision to reset this country on a more pedestal role that would arrest and retool and reorganize this country from the economy to state institution, to bad governance, corruption, indiscipline, arrogance that have choked our space. When you travel across the country, you would know that people are really in bad state. People cannot afford to eat. Even look at us who take monthly salary or something. It is not easy. And while we do that, people are in government today and they are still living like the Arabian kings. They still live as if they are in the Emirates. And I think that we must show some candor. We must show some respect. We must show some humility, honesty and sincerity to our people that this country and this government has failed them, especially with the enormous resources bequeathed to them by President John Dramani Mahama, with even revenue handles and so on and so forth. And for me, I think that I want to call on the youth of this country. They should continue to have hope. They should continue to have hope in President John Dramani Mahama. And on December 7th, they should not shy away. They should go boldly and vote for a massive endorsement like it happened in Britain. And for me, we are all disappointed. We are all disappointed that there's so much massive unemployment in this country, especially the youth, 30%, multidimensional poverty, 4.4 million people, 8.4 million people cannot get 1 square meal to eat a day. Almost 1 million people have slided into abject poverty, as stated by the World Bank. And I think that these are real issues.
Okay, so with regards to this, they always say if you're sitting not to about. So depending on what you feel, if
I know if
you're comfortable and you are not feeling what Honorable is talking about, you can decide on who to vote for. But if you're feeling what Honorable is talking about, it's your thumb. So it's not our thumb, but it's your thumb.
But someone told me about someone said that as for Rosalind, you can't push her around.
Really?
Yeah. And even, in fact, it's one of our MPP communities. It was after a program that we were just talking about the various programs that we go through and the quality of the questions and probing to know more. And most of the platforms are for educative purposes. When I went to Tamale, I'd gone to wash my car, standing by the road, and a young man was riding a motor. He turned and came to me. That Honorable, I want to say, I said, who are you? I've been watching on Rosalind program and blah, blah,
wow.
Yeah. And you see, he told me a lot of things. But the first thing I just want to put, because my colleague, they shouldn't tell my title, is that he had to pay 20,000 Ghana cedis for recruitment into the immigration service. And there were 50 of them. You see, when we say these things, look, Rosalind, we know them. It's true. They will come to you. It's a fact. And when we begin to deny them, it's an insult to those who have paid to get recruited. I was discussing with one of my
colleagues. But Honorable, this particular issue that you're talking about, I remember somewhere in 2012, somebody also had to pay to be recruited.
I was in Parliament. Let me tell you, I was in Parliament. The massive nature of what is happening, it could have happened. It could have happened.
You're just talking about the increment.
No,
but it happens, no.
I cannot say that because you're a journalist and you go into something. Someone might have paid us at the time. But the massive nature, the unbridled nature, the fact that we even employ and recruit and qualify people into our security agency, it's a danger. It's hanging like the sword of Damocles. Look, it is hanging, and it's one day it's going to explode in our faces.
We hope that this can be stopped under every government.
You know what pains me. You know what pains me. So if you are not, if you don't have any political connection, your family, you will never be recruited.
No, but Honorable, in this particular instance, I've seen it even since I was a child because I'm a barracks girl.
Yeah.
And I've seen people take money.
No, that time no one pay. That time when you were a child, no one. Even the security agencies were finding it difficult to get people recruited.
They were paying. I know that for a fact. There were people who were in the security forces who were taking monies to recruit people in there. And so I know this for a fact.
They wanted me to join the armed forces.
Yeah.
But they followed me severally. I didn't.
No, that time was then. Me, I'm young. Anyway, let's read the newspapers this morning.
Those days when you go for deserts and you pass and you go, you know what? They'll follow you to your house. Oh.
No, that time was then.
I just want to tell the changing times.
When I was young. I'll start with the Business Analyst newspaper, the Business Analyst. And this segment is proudly brought to you by Franco Trading Enterprise. Please again, go to Franco for all your gadgets. They have authentic gadgets. If you don't want any fake zone, just go to Franco. And you can download the app on your phone, Franco Trading app, or visit our website, www.francotradingenterprise.com. Franco Trading Enterprise, still phone Papa Pafi. Honorable, I've shared the link with you, so you can share with your family members to tune in as well. And those of you at home, you can also go on Facebook and share the link for us. Like you do for Alpha Hour, share the link for us, and we'll read all your messages. The Business Analyst newspaper, Wisconsin University set up 4 state-of-the-art ICT labs, introduces master's degree in cybersecurity and digital forensics. Economy has not turned the corner yet. NPP government leaving heavy lifting to successive governments. This coming from TechPay. Hikes in transport fares, no decision yet. GPRTU clarifies. And, because of the CD to the dollar ratio and because of fuel prices, transport fares seems to be, I don't know if I should talk about. It's not stable. It's not been stable in a while.
Certainly, it will not be stable.
It's not been stable in a while. Some drivers want to overcharge, others want to maintain the price. We don't know what's going on, but we are hoping that GPRTU will definitely come to an understanding or an agreement with these drivers so that we, the passengers, we can actually sit in our cars comfortably. I mean, the trotros and the taxis and the Ubers. We are begging you. Mahama's U-turn on free SHS shocking. Fatima to Abubakar says so. CD continues stability against the dollar. CD to remain stable against the dollar this week. And what stability are we talking about, darling? I get very confused when some of these newspapers report these things like stability in 15 cities. Wow, what a shock. Daily Graphic newspaper, 2024 elections, please on alert to troublemakers. ENI Vitol case, tribunal dismisses $7 billion claim against Ghana. Slippers land BECE candidates in trouble, but you're not supposed to wear slippers. But then again, I'll ask the question, where are they writing the exit? Because there are some communities that these children don't have shoes.
They even walk
They don't. They go barefooted. So if it's these communities, then of course we'll have to plead. But if it's not these communities and it's, the urban areas and you can afford to wear a shoe, why do you go in there with slippers? So we are delving into the BECE conversation today, like I told you earlier. So sending your messages to us. NDC to establish anti-corruption mechanism, and this is coming from Mahama. He said this when he met with the press on Sunday evening. So I'm wondering what the anti-corruption mechanism is. Will he maintain the office of the special prosecutor? Well, he said something about it. And let's see. OWOP remains on curriculum until 2026. That will be it for the Daily Graphic newspaper. And the final newspaper is the Daily Guide newspaper. EC Chair, IGP pledge credible elections. GNPC floors ENI in $7 billion case. Baumia presents Napoto Tumfor today, and we are all waiting for that big outdooring. NDC-SC parking claims untenable. This coming from majority in Parliament. And Okwe shakes the Dome Kwabinya. Let's see if there are some entertainment stories in here as well. Okay. I've thought of joining Freemason. This coming from who? Ochiame Kwame. Oh, wow. You thought about it, but you didn't. Okay, let's see. I can bring the Bible to the table. This comes from DJ Kapi. And some sports story here as well. Newham lands Lion permanent deal. Match fixing referee for England-Netherlands game. Ronaldo not quitting now. And Olise joins Bayern from Palace. That'll be all with what the newspapers are reporting. Now, earlier, I did tell you about the BECE BECE that is ongoing. It started yesterday. They've already written their English paper, and so they have other papers to write as well. They'll finish on Friday. However, there's been some development. We are looking at the numbers that registered this year. There's a decline of 5.29% as compared to the numbers that registered last year. Last year, there were over 600,000 students that wrote the BECE. This time around, it's dropped to 569,095 candidates. And we are asking, what is the reason for this? We're also looking at the 3 teachers that have been arrested because they try to assist their students in the examination. But why will you do that? Why will you put your profession on the line for somebody else? How much are you being paid for that? Also, we'll look at some 2 students that lost their lives just before the exam started. Actually, they've been in a camp. They were visited by their elder sister. They went to see their elder sister off, and the tragedy happened. It's quite a difficult time for the family, I must say, because losing 2 children when they have to write exams is not easy at all. So we'll try and see if we can speak with any family. Okay, so 1 died and 1 in critical condition, actually. So we'll try and see if we can raise any family member or anybody there who can help us understand what exactly happened. But it's quite a difficult time for the family, because it's not easy. Anyway, so Honorable Awantrim is here and poised for the conversation. Now, he's an educationist, and I know he's very interested or invested in this conversation. Don't forget to send your messages to us, and don't forget to leave your messages on Facebook as well, because today I am going on Facebook to read all the messages, I promise you. Like I said, comment on our topics and greet your family members, okay? Honorable, the main thing for me is the decline in numbers, and we are asking, what could be the reason why there's such a decline? 5.29%. We are seeing free SHS, and so we should see increments in the numbers, not a decline.
Rosalind, before I get there, there was a headline you read that Fatima too is talking about. That's the Minister for Information, right? Talking about the fact that James U10, where's the U10? You see, he's a Minister for Information. He's not a foot soldier. He can read and write properly. Where is the U10? They were the people telling us that review means cancellation, including a whole PhD holder who is the Minister for Education, said review meant cancellation. The President equally Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo said review meant cancellation. And yet these are the people who will go to IMF and tell them they are going to review the free HSS. They're going to review it. And I can give you the date, the time, and everything by the IMF document. So when we do this and say that his U10, has Mama ever said that in fact, he started implementing? We can even go beyond that.
The progressive free education.
Yes, you know I'm a Nordner, and we've all enjoyed them, including Fatima. I don't know whether he went there also. No one. There are some policies in life and in government that you can't touch them. For instance, you cannot touch health insurance. You cannot touch free education. There are some policies you do not even need law.
So the free SHS, it's been in the North for how long?
Oh, Nkrumah instituted it.
Okay.
But you see, it isn't an issue that everything was free. We're not paying for boarding.
Okay.
We're not also paying for exam fees. But there are other fees that we paid. Okay. But the boarding, the feeding was free.
All right.
That's what we all want. So it wasn't absolutely free, just like it is today.
Okay.
Which is okay. I don't have a problem with that. But there are some policies, public policies, that you can't touch them. If you touch them, you are touching the people, and the people will show you. It's insulated by the people's love for that policy and by the Constitution. So it is not within anyone's mouth or your capacity or your whims and caprices to determine what the people of this country. In fact, it has been bestowed on them by the Constitution. And there are some rights that are inalienable rights that you can't take away from the people. What matter knows all this. So if you say he said 10 a U10, where's the U10? And you also mentioned about the OSP office. In fact, we are not going to scrap it. John Dramani Mahama mentioned that in his term. He's going to even strengthen the issue about the offices of anti-corruption in this country. It's not that they do not exist. You know, most of the time when we want to talk, the government will quickly say they've given them much more resources than any other government. Be that as it may, but the obstacles you put on their way to operate freely without fear or favor is the major issue that confronts the institutions. You understand? Look at the lamentations of the current OSP. Look at the lamentations of Matnamidu, the pioneer, and so on. It is not about how much money you give, but if they are operating under instructions and under what they should prosecute and what they should not prosecute, they are under pressure to treat some issues as selective justice and so on. That is where the issue is. It's not about the institution and so on. If we have a president who has fought corruption and said, look, that was where he said that, look, if you accuse me of the Airbus scandal, if you accuse me of having hotels in Dubai, for 7 years, 7 months, you have not been able to show for one. And we have said it on this platform several times that if not, and if they have any report, they should put it. You know, sometimes I threaten that if you don't prosecute John Mahama will prosecute you. It is time for you to destroy him. You can't destroy him.
Well, he's also spoken about the fact that he set up offices for, contracts that are above a certain amount of
These
money.
are all for accountability and transparency purposes.
So that's the way of fighting
value
corruption.
And for value for money purposes.
All right.
Because my sister, we've come a long way.
Right.
Look at soul sourcing. That was a major issue. It has now become like they are sharing granules in this government.
Anyway, Honorable, let's delve into our topic.
Yeah. So we talked about the BECE. In fact, it is interesting that the numbers should rather be going up from 600, we should be moving to 700 and so on and so forth. But the numbers are reducing, and I think there should be reasons that will be adduced for the reduction in numbers. I also know that all is not easy for parents. There are some parents who cannot even send their children to basic schools. Because of hardship, because of the economic meltdown, a lot of people feel the crunch. So when these frustrations come in, it translates into our children and so on. So I am not surprised the numbers have reduced. I'm not surprised because as we are in the cities that we are talking, look, you may check the trend. It is completely different in the less urban area, the peri-urban areas, including even our districts, the municipalities, going down to the north and other rural areas of this country. It hasn't been easy. And you see, and I think that comprehensively, we should be much more interested in the basic education level so that each child should not be deprived to write his final exam after having gone through 8 years, not 6, 9 years of basic education. At the end of the day, whatever that we have to put in, whatever resource that we have to put in as a country, we must put in to ensure that the right is. You've seen that even captation grants and grants that some little man, the head teachers and headmasters need to ensure the smooth running and buying of consumables at the basic level have been denied these institutions because somewhere along the line, government has not used the money judiciously for which it is meant to be used. There are basic teaching materials that a lot of people. So sometimes when it gets to the time and the students themselves feel that they are not properly prepared to write the exam, they stay away. They get panic. You see, we need to do a lot because the educational system, the whole educational system, is fraught with a lot of challenges. I teach, like you rightly said, I just love teaching. That I'm not a trained teacher, but I love teaching. I remember when I left sixth form, I was even doing voluntary teaching up to that. I later on became an investigator for Shira for 10 years. Even then, I found time to go and teach. And beyond that, I've been teaching, and up to today, almost all the time, when I have a chance, I go teaching and then ensure that I teach my best. So for me, a lot must go into it. It is unfortunate that last year, if we register 600, the number should rather be rising. It is rather coming down. Education itself, it is not, what do you call it? An area we can toy with.
Yeah.
It encapsulates, it captures every facet of our lives and so on. So government, and especially this government, has gotten so much resources. Even the free HSS we are talking about this morning is confronted with a lot of challenges. And every time I want to talk about it, we are told that no, it is not so. But for me, I think there's a big problem. You were talking about some who lost their life. Rosalind, can you imagine that this day you can find primary school children crossing rivers
Yeah,
crossing rivers.
But you see, for me, when we talk about these things, Honorable, I really, really feel that no political party has, the right to talk about it, because every political party has had an opportunity, especially with the NDC and the MPP. And what did you do? Because
we
even
as 4,000 schools, and the total number was 6,000. We removed 4,000. The shift system, you remember, where students will go in the morning, they will close around 12, others will go. We completely eradicated that, even especially in
But we still have children who are walking long distances to go write exams.
It's true. I agree with you. What I'm saying is that if they had continued with where we left the schools under trees, and especially Rosalind, is it not mind-boggling that even foot bridges cannot be done across these rivers? When you see children struggling to cross rivers, those who up to 10 years will pick their smaller ones on their arms and try to cross. When their lives are in danger, we watch these things. And yet there's so much wastage, there's so much corruption, there's so much money spent on useless areas of our life. People should talk. It's not just about NDC. The media, and I know you people do a lot, because there was a case about a lady that was posted to an area where there was no school. I think you reviewed the issue here.
Right.
How can that be done?
Okay.
We removed over 4,000 schools under trees. If they had continued, and one thing that is clear, my sister, is that schools under trees would continue to be there as long as the population grows, there are new settlements and so on. It is for the government of the day to chase these schools under trees and make sure that they put up proper structures and train much more people to take care of them. Look, it is not for us to talk, it is for all of us, civil society organizations. And Education Watch has reported copiously on these areas, including even UNICEF and so on. It is a major policy issue, it's a major decision that we must take to save our younger ones from all these challenges while they are trying to educate themselves and so on.
Right, and let's go and speak with John Kapi to give us more information with regards to what is happening. So we are speaking with WAEC this morning. Good morning, John. John, kindly unmute yourself for us.
Sure, I have done that. Good morning.
Good morning, how are you? It's good to speak to you again.
Good morning, thanks for having me.
Great. This year we have the numbers that have registered 600,000. We've had 569,095 candidates who have registered, as compared to over 600,000 that registered last year. As WAEC, these figures, if I may ask you, do you know what is contributing to this, or do you have any idea of what is contributing to this?
Well, I guess we had a problem last year. There were rumors that BECE was going to be written for the last time last year. So our suspicion is that a lot of the people who wrote BECE last year were actually not final year students. Some may have been moved from lower classes to the higher class to go and register, because we realized a very high increase in the number of candidates for the year 2023. We are still doing some investigations. We haven't actually been able to establish specifically what accounted for that astronomical increase in candidature for BECE in 2023.
Right. And this year, so far, the numbers have dropped, but it's okay. We'll still go with it. Let's also look at how it's been so far after the first day. What are some of the feedback that you've received?
Right. So on our part, we think that the measures we put in place have actually worked. We've been able to reach out, reach all the areas that we needed to reach early enough for all the candidates to write the examinations. We also have registered a few infractions, and we put out some of them. Yesterday, for example, we picked up some teachers at Jinijini in the Bono region. They had phones on them. They had taken snapshots of the question, and then they also posted same on some WhatsApp platforms that they belonged to. So 2 were picked up from Jinijini. At Anyuankwanta, as we speak, there were 5 people who were picked up from there. Their ages range between 18 and 43 years. they also were engaged. They had phones on them, and then they were, circulating question papers, snapshots that had been taken in examination hall. And then at Nkranza, we picked up one invigilator also who was engaged in this same snapshot thing. And then at Chemu Secondary School in Tema, we picked up a teacher who had also taken snapshots of questions and posted them on a WhatsApp platform, and somebody was trading in them.
Right. But, you told them that it was forbidden. So we will wonder how they decided not to abide by the rules and regulations.
Well, I guess it's an attitudinal problem where some people think that they can do this and get away with it. We suspect that the supervisors may not have enforced the rule of, having the candidates, the invigilators keep their phones elsewhere. When our team got there, they realized that the guy quickly went to put his phone where it was supposed to be for safekeeping. But then they impressed upon the supervisor to allow them, ask the guy to open up the phone for them to search. And when they went through, they realized that that was what he had done.
So what's going to happen to these persons who have been picked up?
Well, per our rules, the possession of question papers in the course of the examination is against the law. It's against the WAEC law. And so these persons are going to be processed and taken to court, and they will be prosecuted.
Okay.
Again, for those who are still actively teaching, we are compiling the list and will submit same to the Director General Government Education Service. And we believe that some disciplinary action will be taken against them based on their own internal rules.
Okay. Now, we know the government paid you 55 million Ghana cedis for you to be able to have this examination go on. How much more money does the government owe you?
So we had about 94 million. Now we are 55. I would have to do a very quick arithmetic. I don't have the figures right in front of me, but whatever we received is about between 60 and 65%. As I speak, plans are afoot for the government to release the rest of the money to us so as to be able to complete the process and release results at the appropriate time.
So what is the time frame you are looking at? If the government should not release the money as of that time, then of course there'll be a delay in the release of results.
We still are writing the examinations. There are a lot of things that will go on after the examination before the marking and processing of results will begin. So my belief is that by the time we start marking, looking at the process that has been started, we should be able to get the money in before even the marking exercise starts.
Okay. Now, let me ask you this. The examination fees, it started with 300. Some schools were charging 350. What is the actual figure that was charged per student?
The actual figure we charged was 214 Ghana cedis and 1 peso. Now, this is what we have in our budget, and that is what every candidate is supposed to pay to the council for us to be able to organize the examination. If there are any, sorry?
Sorry, please continue, Mr. Kapi.
Yeah, so if there are any extra fees that have been charged by any of the institutions, it's probably because of some of their internal arrangements they've made, but the WAEC itself is charging just 214 Ghana cedis.
Has this figure been the usual figure, or it increases every year?
There are a number of factors that go into fixing examination fees. We have some of the items that we have to import, so we take into consideration the port charges that we have to pay. There are also a number of fluctuations, especially talk about fuel prices. We talk about inflation. We also talk about other items that we may have to buy from abroad that will cost us in dollars. The dollar rate is also a factor. So all of these things are brought into consideration, and then based on that, we come out with a figure. It is also based on the number of candidates we are testing per year. We look at the previous year's figure, and then we do a bit of arithmetic with the figures, and then come up with fees for the year for the testing.
Oh, so you have to know the numbers before you come out with the fees?
Yes, because usually what happens is that every single candidate should have a certain number of items for the examination. Talk about objective answer cards, talk about answer booklets, talk about pencils, and other examination stationery. So if I'm going to test maybe 100 people, obviously I'll need more items than if I'm testing just 50. All right. So the numbers would also determine how much we would charge, by way of examination fees.
Okay. Mr. Kapi, last year, how much did you charge per child for examination fee?
Wow, I don't have the figures readily available to me, so I wouldn't be able to tell, but I think it was around 189 thereabouts.
Right, 189.
I have to check, actually. I have to go into my records and check that.
Okay, so 189, and this year we are looking at 214. 214, okay. We are just trying to find out if the increment in this could be a reason why there's a decline in numbers.
Oh, well, the decline in numbers is not about examination fees, because this is an examination that is a selection examination. People are going to have to sit this one in order to be able to make it to the next stage. So I wouldn't say that it is as a result of the examination fees. Probably it is, as I said earlier, the rush to have children register to write the BECE last year in order to escape whatever they were anticipating will happen this year. That's our suspicion, but the fees wouldn't be a factor. No, I don't think so.
All right, Mr. Kapi, thank you so much. So day 2, what's to be expected?
So day 2, we have computing and science today. Our prayer is that all candidates will arrive at the examination centers early enough to start the examination. We ask parents to prepare their candidates and get them there early so that they don't panic before they start. Our invigilators and supervisors, please, we want you to do what we have told you to do and nothing else. And for those who have no business with examination, we plead that you don't get anywhere near any examination center, because the security agencies will deal with you if they find you there.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kapi, for joining us this morning. We are grateful.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Have a good day. Right, we come back to the studio, and Uncle Atu has joined us. Uncle Atu Kujo, who's representing the NPP this morning. Good morning, how are you?
Good morning, Joris. I'm fine.
Great. I'm fine, thank you.
Let me greet my brother-in-law. I know he missed me at the funeral.
Yes, certainly.
Something came up.
Your presence was not felt, but the family represented adequately. Yeah.
Okay, so now let's talk about the BECE. We are seeing the students writing the exams. There's a decline in numbers. Last year's over 600,000. This year it's 569,000. 5.29% decline. What could be the reason?
Okay, so I listened to the gentleman you just spoke with, and I think that if there's any better explanation, he has given it. I remember when, in those years when we were in sixth form, and I was staying with my uncle here in Accra. The children were in JSS, primary school. Then they said they were going to introduce JSS, JHS, or whatever.
No, SS.
SS.
The SS, the one.
Yeah, SS.
Yeah.
So he had to rush the children. One was in JSS 3, JSS 2. They had to rush them to the old secondary school, thinking that the old secondary school was always perfect than the new one that was going to be introduced. And so I kind of want to side with this explanation that, because I myself also wanted to even do it, because my daughter, she couldn't even write now. She'll write next year. But we heard that there were going to be changes, until later we told that the changes will not come now.
So there's a rush. There was a rush because of that.
Rush. Oh, so I believe so much that there was a rush. I don't think that, because if you go to the rural communities, I have a school in my village, for instance. People are so excited about going to write exams, okay? Whatever they have to do it, they will do it. And so it's not I don't think that the difference in fee and other things will make sure that will cause them to want to stay away from the examination. So technical people have given us a more technical reason. I think that I want to side with that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, since we are hearing that it's not to do with the money, but it probably could be the whole, misinformation that there could be a change and hence there was a rush. Somebody actually did mention yesterday that it could be that people think that if the NDC should come to power, they'll cancel free SHS. Hence, they pushed their votes to register last year to go right to the examination. That's why the numbers were good last year as compared to this year. Let me speak with Cassandra, who is the PRO for GES, to get to know. Okay, so I'll definitely get Cassandra to speak to her as well, but let's hear your voices as well. I don't know if our messages have already started trickling in. I want to hear from you this morning what you think about it. But Honorable, as much as you are talking about this, let's look at the exam malpractice as well. He mentioned the number of students who have been picked up and teachers who have been picked up. And you ask yourself, how do they even get to take their phones in there to screenshot?
Yeah, Rosalind, it's a bigger issue, and I feel that whatever that we can, for that matter, education will do to stop it. Because when you do that, it devalues the certificate at a particular time, because people will begin to read meaning into the quality of the examination and so on. And for me, whatever that you do, that is anti-education. And remember, when you are doing that, so you are invariably or behind the scenes inculcating into the students kind of dishonesty and stealing that they can grow up. Some people grow up with these things, and that even when they get to the SS level, they need to copy. When they get to university, I remember I had my mate at the university who was telling me that for him, there's nothing you do, he will not copy. And I was imagining how you could copy at the university exams, but that was what he told me. So the larger picture, and it's in collaboration with parents, with the students themselves, and the actors in that field, we must do everything within our capacity, if resources are there, to ensure that we stop it and it should cease completely. Because we are writing in the global, we are all in the global world. Our educational system are compared to other educational institutions, even within the West African sub-region. If it is that every year we are writing exam, be the basic or even the senior high, and that malpractices are major issues and we cannot arrest and confront it frontally, then it's a big problem. And for me, parents must be advised that they should always give the students the best of education when they are there. They should encourage them to learn. And government must play its part by often supplying the needed education materials and ensure that they write these things in an atmosphere that they do not panic. There should be a conducive, and there should be an atmosphere of confidence. Most people who copy are just an issue of they lack confidence to even write the exams and so on. So the only alternative is to pay money. Can you imagine parents would have to pay so much money for
But
these
why
things
will
and so
you
on?
pay
So
money
that is
for
an issue.
exams that your child
And you see,
ought to write?
it is also so because, from basic education, you must go to the SS. Look at how the selection is done. People pay so much, up to 20,000 to get admission to some special first-class schools in this country and so on. And you must, sometimes we even have 8 ones. And you see parents weeping because the choice of the schools for their children, and for that matter, the children, they do not even have access. And they will hear that someone who even have lesser grades got the same school. In fact, every year, I went to get admission for someone, and I met a woman. The woman was that the child had 7 ones. It's been happening, we know these things. And the girl could not get her choice of schools that she put, not even the first, the second, and the third child. They just threw the girl elsewhere and so on. So it's keep her. So this is what motivates parents to ensure their children get the best grades at the base level in order to get the schools that they are yearning for themselves, so that the grades can be a pointer. But I think that we can go beyond that. So the selection too, from the basic into the SS, is a big problem, and that we must also confront that.
We need to look into that. But Uncle Ato, aside that, what else can we do to prevent these exams malpractices? Because it's becoming one too many. Almost every year we are hearing this. WAEC has actually threatened that if it should continue, they'll cancel the whole examination. I
think that let's give some praise and to the Minister of Education. He has introduced some changes, the standardization of questions. So, for instance, you may sit in the same classroom and you'll not be answering the same number of, they are serialized them. So he's writing a different paper. Not different paper, really. The questions numbers are not the same and all those things. All those things are to address these issues. But one of the reports I read made me so sad. Children are keeping monies in the answer booklet.
Yes, they said they are keeping monies and they are writing their phone numbers.
And it tells you how...
To the markers.
When I read...
I'd like to be an examiner.
Yeah.
I would like to mark
So
this.
they have the answer booklets, they leave their phone numbers, and they put money inside.
Yeah, I read it too.
Who taught them that?
I was sad. That is
Who gave the money
the
to them?
society that we have created.
How?
Corrupt society.
Corrupt society.
That.
So the children have picked it.
Who is to be blamed for that? I think our leaders.
No,
all our leaders. I won't even say a particular political party. It's all leaders.
I went to one village recently.
Yeah.
The children, yes, we will vote. Yes, we will vote. Yes, we will vote.
Because when we go to the villages to campaign, we give monies.
We give money to the people.
Yeah.
And you see, don't let us do them. But at the basic level, they are not even voters.
But they've seen the monies.
They are coming there. So who gave them the money to send it?
Politicians.
See,
no. To send it to the examination, no. I mean campaigning, when you're campaigning.
We have created a system where people think that this is normal. If I put money there, anyway, the person will do me a favor. Why should we let children think this way? Why can't we make the children think how best I can develop myself, how best I can look up to whatever. I mean, try to do the best rather than to... And then for teachers, you are supposed to, your duty is to prepare the children for the examination. You prepare them in the classroom. Now, if you go to our communities, my own community, my school, they do it. They come somewhere for about 1 or 2 weeks and they'll be teaching the children, aggressive teaching, concentrating on past questions and all that. So what I tell my teachers, your duty ends there. When they go to the examination center, you don't go to do, if you do anything and you are caught, I'm not part of it. Because I want the result coming from my school to reflect the performance of my teachers. A lot of them, I've taken them to university to do a degree, a sandwich degree program. So I want to see that what I've paid for in you, investment I made in you, is now showing the children. So I don't expect you to go and sit in the examination hall. And I read somebody recommended that these people, their licenses should be seized. If you're a teacher and you are helping the children to cheat, the person was recommended that the licenses should be seized. And I think that I tend to, because sometimes we talk about politicians, we talk about it. This is what is happening in the teaching sector. The children are doing it, the teachers are doing it, the vigilators themselves are also doing it. So where are we going as a society? We need to have prompt and a severe punishment to some of this, severe actions taken against some of this, so that people can decide to do the right thing. Because if you're a teacher, you are being paid, and what you want your student to come out on top of what?
To come on top, and we actually will speak with Cassandra, who is a PR of GES, very soon. She's not ready yet, but we'll speak to her very soon. We have a lot of messages that have come in. I want to read some of the messages. Yeah. Okay, let me...
What I wanted to say was, you see, sometimes we make the students feel that the exam is the panacea to everything.
For your future.
For the future.
You know, I remember
there
those who were like
fail, and they are the best politicians. They are the best business people. They are look, we can mention big politicians who don't even have certificates and so on. We make it the children to look as if they fail the BECE or the SS, that is the end of the
That's an important point.
And anytime I'm teaching students, I've been encouraging them that you can even have 10 Fs. Yeah, but that's not the end of life.
True, very true.
And I've been encouraging, that has been part of my teaching style ever since I started teaching. I tell them that you can have 10 Fs. Look, Bill Gates and them big rich people, even in this country, don't we have people who are very rich and yet they attended only basic
Right. Let me read some messages coming in. NPP supporters think social intervention is to sharing money like what Dr. Baumia is doing now. All that Mahama said about the social intervention is the main social intervention from Ablade Ifeku Mazongo. I think change will surely visit Ghana on December 7th because too many lies can make the country progress. From Ablade once again. Good morning. This is Abbas from Sakrade. The numbers for the BECE increased to that extent last year because some students in Form 2 and Form 1 skipped Form 3 and 2 respectively to write the BECE last year, resulting in low numbers this year. Okay, thank you very much for this point, though. The government tried solving this problem, which is becoming a yearly ritual, but it failed. This is all because of the change in curriculum, which has not been explained down to the masses. Wow. Okay. Very, very, very good one. Good morning, my beautiful Rosalind. Indeed, Ghana will choose the future that is Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, rather than the failed past twice defeated former president who once told the people of this country that if they should continue to complain about rampant increase of fuel prices, that they can pack their cars and use trotro, and again went ahead to pour more insult by referring citizens of this country of being short memories. So with this, who is arrogant in the eyes of Ghanaians, as the NDC is trying all their best to rather paint our running mates in their desperation to convince Ghanaians to capture power. Bringing back Mahama as president is like going back to fight against a white man in quest of independence from modern slavery. Grandma will help. I always say that, please, my viewers, don't send messages like grandma. I'm begging you, just mention a name. There's nothing like that. I appreciate your messages, but please let's refrain from these things, okay? So let's say Madam Nana Jean will help JM to withdraw nursing teacher training allowances, bringing back the policy of paying a newly posted teacher only 3 months of arrears rather than his or hers of entitlement of teaching without pay, as she did when she was JM's education minister under his administration. And also, GM will place embargo once again on employment for another 4 years, as he and NDC also promised to review the free SHS policy. But in the opposite, they are planning of cancelling the policy in case Ghanaians mistakenly vote them into office. With regards to this, I am urging citizens of the country to vote Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia come December 7th. Our flag bearer and running mates are the perfect pair for the future of this country. It's possible. Abdul Aziz Jibani, Joy TV neighbor. Good morning to you. Effective communication involves listening to each other's perspectives and ideas, as well as clearly expressing our own thoughts and opinion. By fostering an environment of open and respectful dialogue, we can work together to find solutions to the myriad of challenges that our nation faces. This can also help to bridge any existing divides, okay, between different groups within our society, promoting unity and cohesion. Aaron Bebako Kokomisa, Accra. Right, so this one says, good morning. Okay, Madam Host. Please, who said no government can use 4 years to develop a country? JM, who said he's a dead goat? JM, who is Ghana official one? JM, under whose government a minister said the youth are lazy and they should cut grasses, gather stones and sell it? JM, who received a gift of car from Burkina Faso contractor? JM, no more such a person in this country, and we need serious people like Dr. Bawumia. The arrogance should be replaced by JM. It's clear that recruitment under this government is based on party affiliation and nothing else. Under this government, forms are not even advertised, yet persons are being recruited continuously. I'm a victim of the nepotistic acts of this government with respect to the recruitment into the security agencies. Rosalind, we were made to write exams. Interestingly, the results of the exams we wrote some time back were not communicated to us, yet we saw persons who have links with the NPP going for training. The state capture nepotism and favoritism under this government is simply unimaginable and unprecedented. Good morning to the revered and astute politician, Honorable Timothy Atabwadi. This coming from Doniel Akbaliok Sandima. Kweko Francis Ekumfi Mbroboto. Fellow Ghanaians, don't allow the NDC to repeat what they did to Kufuor in 2008 to win elections. In 2009, when people like Fifi Kwete were brought before Parliament, they admitted many of the things they said were just mere propaganda. People like Aloti Jacobs went to apologize to Kufuor nicodemously. The NDC could not jail a single MPP official, and after all the alleged scandals they claimed, Ghana today needs leaders who can better fight corruption with modern ideas like digitization. Okay, vote to retain Ophelia Mensah Hayford in Infantiman constituency is all-inclusive work, right? Mason Majid from Bechim, Toronto says, my regards to the Honorable Charles Akwesi Asiedu, incoming MP for Tano South constituency. These are some of the key things JDM highlighted during his meeting with the media. Free SHS has come to stay and no one can roll it back. Let's improve the implementation. 2, I will not countenance any appointee involved in illegal mining. 3, I will support any bill that goes to improve a sustainable and quality education for our children. 4, the 24-hour economy will focus on the local production of goods to export. 5, I don't condone stealing in the name of God. The debate has been settled. JDM is the rescuer. Let's vote massively for him on December 7th. Alhaji Hamza from Pig Farm says, good morning, Rosalind. I'm particularly happy that the agenda of mischief and propaganda by the majority leader and the NPP has been exposed big time. The aim of this bill is nothing but to play pure politics with it and gain cheap political points. Why will you be calling on the minority to respond to issues in the bill when itself is yet to come to Parliament? Madam, are you aware that the IMF called on Ghana to review the policy of the free SHS because it's not the best? But today, when people call for review, the NPP says it means cancellation. They should say to the IMF, as we speak now, the free SHS has no policy documentation or document to guide the policy. I dare them to provide the policy document for free SHS. Madam, there are already laws. Okay, there are already laws in our constitution guided the free SHS. Go and read Act 10 to 49. Why will President Mahama cancel free SHS when he has been the one who started the free SHS on progressive free? And even President Anado has to applaud him for that. So what are we talking about? Madam, free SHS has come to stay and nobody can do anything about it. What we need not is to review the policy to make it better for our children. Akonsi Gariba says, good morning, Rosalind. Did I hear Mr. Mahama say that he has brought free SHS at the press of his coming back? Mr. Mahama coming back will promote deception, arrogance, indiscipline, ingratitude, and greed among Ghanaians. If he's given an opportunity again, Ghanaians will not get burned twice by the same flame. It's possible for Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Baumia and Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempe. Good morning, host. Watch Kenya. Street uprising video. Very massive. Ghana must rise up and save the charlatans and corrupt government of the NPP. Ghana must work again. The JM 24 hours is coming 2025. My regards to Honorable Joe T. Achu from Katamaso New Bridge. Honorable Akisme from Setri Bekwai says, good morning, Commander Feliba Kope. Me that. A message to BECE students. As you prepare to write your exams, remember that your hard work and dedication are the keys to your success. Don't let anyone persuade you to take shortcuts or cheat. Your integrity and honesty are worth more than any grade or score. Write your exams with pride and confidence. Show the world that you've learned. Prove to yourself that you can do it. Make your family and teachers proud. Set an example for others to follow. Remember, success is not just about passing exams, but about becoming a person of integrity and character. Wow, this is powerful. Good morning. The reduction of the number of BECE candidates is due to hardships. People are now reducing the number of childbirth due to the cost of child bring up. The 7.3 million Ghanaians that have been made poor is gradually being translated into the number of pupils. The rate of unemployment is inversely related to educational affordability. Hence, the sign of 14.7% unemployment rate is directly reflected in the number of BECE candidates we are seeing today. Francis from Adaiso. But Francis, you see, this when we look at this one, the reduction is we are looking at 15 years ago. The children who are writing now, they were born 50 years ago or 14 years ago. So if we are looking at it, the hardship, if you talk about maybe registration fees, they can't afford registration fees, that's different. But if you say the hardship is not allowing people to give birth, that was 15 years ago. So let's look at who was in power 15 years ago. Then Master Planner Junior Kintopo says, anyone that tells you that our basic schools are not in good standing doesn't mean what he or she is saying. The performance of the students have improved, and it's even reflected in both the BECE and WASI. Now textbooks are available. Currently, all basic schools across the country have been supplied with modern white marker boards with dusters and markers. Under the NDC, teachers were using chalkboards, yes, and Mahama and his then Education Minister, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, could provide common chalk for our schools. We have come a long way. NPP government has really invested in our education and is reflecting on the ground. Master Planner Junior Kitampo. Good morning, Roslyn. I have a lot of messages, you know. Good morning, Roslyn. Richard King of Zoom. The NDC is now preaching as if they have never been in power with their abysmal and corrupt track records. Public basic schools now turn into boarding institutions for JHS 3 learners for their BECE, which is unlawful because public basic schools don't have the accreditation for boarding all in the name of APO to get good grades. 5.29% decline of BECE candidates is as a result of false information about BECE. Congratulations to the teachers who were caught by assisting candidates for peanuts. I'll be on Zoom on Friday. We want you to be on Zoom. We can't wait to have you on Zoom. Good morning, Rosalind. The drop in YA candidates was as a result of hardship in the country. I always thank God for giving Ghana John Dramani Mahama. His 24-hour economy will save Ghanaians from this hardship. Everyone will get a job and business will boom. All the collapsed banks will work again whilst collapsed companies will resurrect. JDM will complete all abandoned projects, so contractors should start servicing the equipment because the nation builder JDM is coming. John Dramani Mahama will surely save Ghanaians from this mess. I encourage everyone to rally round the NDC and vote for Ghana's future. Enough of the state looting, Baolaya and arrogant Napo must go. Solomon Zenu Martin Luther. Okay, so please, let's see if we have some messages on Facebook. I've promised my Facebook messages. All right, so I'll come back to my messages later. I do have a lot of messages, so I'll try and come back to you, okay? Let me see what I have on Facebook as well. So currently, currently we have spoken to some of the students. They've told us how it's always been like, you know, for us, when we wrote our exams 5 years ago, what we went through, what to hear, what they are also going through. Take a look at it.
The English went very well. The questions were on point and the format was very good. I noticed that prior to the examination, we're given some English sample questions that we're supposed to do. But instead of using that one, we rather use the old format. So the questions were familiar to me.
So it was fine. I didn't actually expect anything difficult. But I had encouragement before I went to write, so I think everything went fine. English it's all about using, you know, your brain and everything, so I think it went okay. English wasn't easy, it was solvable. But the rest of the papers, I don't know. But we are praying and we are hoping that everything will go well.
It was okay, apart from the essay part, but then overall everything was fine. But it was quite easy. It wasn't as complicated as I thought it would be. So I'm just hoping for the best.
Hi, my name is Nana Isidua Inchidonko. I've been preparing for this my whole life and I'm finally here. Just can't wait to write and I'm fully prepared. Just excited.
For us as a school, we had to double up for the preparation of this exam because this is the first of its kind. These candidates are the first batch to write the BECE for the new curriculum. BECE for the new curriculum is 10 subjects. The old one used to be 9. So there were changes in the subject areas and all, so we had to double up as a school. By the grace of God, our candidates are very well prepared. We brought in the various stakeholders to support them in the learning and the teaching. And we are confident that by the grace of God, they are coming out with excellent results. That's what we are looking forward to. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Frank Obendafo, the head of academics of Faith Kids Academy. After 3 years of intense preparation, today is the day of reckoning. And I want to wish our candidates all the best, the candidates all over the country. I want to wish them all the best. I pray for God's grace and mercies for them, that their labor will not be in vain. Thank you so much. Bye.
So I have my guests. They are always like this. So let's read some comments. I promise my Facebook people that I was going to read the messages, so I'm going to read your messages. Daniel Akpaliok says it is clear that education under the Nana and Baumia government has been destroyed. These people, in their quest to win power, has condoned unprecedented examination malpractice. If left unchecked, will plunge our dear country into more serious crisis than what we are experiencing now. If they really believe in the free SHS policy, why are their own children schooling in private schools and many others are educated outside the confines of the country? The decline in the number of candidates for the BECE exams further exposes how weak their policies are as far as education is concerned. Ghanaians are not that gullible in their thinking. They will certainly be shown the exit door come December 7th polls. I have really missed Honorable Timothy, and this is coming from Daniel Akpaliok. Just 1 week, Daniel has missed you. Richard Mercer says, good morning, Rosalind. Richard, king of Zoom. The NDC is now preaching as if they have never been in power with their abysmal corrupt track records. I think I read it on Facebook, but I'll still read it because I want you people to keep coming on my Facebook, okay? Public basic schools are now turned into boarding institutions for JHS 3 learners for their BECE, which is unlawful because public basic schools don't have the accreditation for boarding, all in the name of APO to get good grades. 5.29% decline in BECE candidates is a result of these false information about BECE. Congratulations to the teachers who were caught by assisting candidates for peanuts. I'll be on Zoom on Friday. Now, we heard what the teacher said, that they were supposed to write 9 exams. I think last year they wrote 9 papers. This time around, they are writing 10 papers. Could that be one of the reasons why some parents made their children register early? Well, Master Planner, I'll come back to you. As for my Facebook messages, today I'll read all my Facebook messages. So send your messages via Facebook now. Let's go and speak with Cassandra, who is a PRO for GES. Hello, Cassandra.
Hello.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well, my great.
Great. And thank you so much for joining us this morning. Currently, we are seeing an increment in females, and it's quite interesting. Let's talk about what is contributing to that, because the numbers in females are high.
The population is female.
We're not seeing that in the past. We're seeing more boys than girls. Now we are seeing more girls than boys. Cassandra, please talk to us.
Thank you so much for having me. This week started yesterday, and I must say that we've had a good kickoff, and we expect that it will be till Monday when they will write their final paper. But the increase in females is just because people are hearing me and our hope and what and we like to have most of the girls in at the required age, which is age 4. Our statistics in country are not so to give us details on the figures, especially with the decline in the entire figure, and then what also accounted to an increase in female and all the issues around the figures. And so I would rest here and then give you a proper feedback on the statistics, why we have more females and then why we have a decline in the total number of candidates.
Okay, so when are we to expect that detail?
When it's ready, definitely my boss will let me engage you again. So.
But I have the figures with regards to the females and the males on here. I have for the male, it's 282,648 males.
Yes, we do have. I'm not saying we don't have the figures. We do have. You asked for specifics. You wanted to know why we had.
Okay. All right. Okay.
That's why for the figures we do.
Right. And do you have figures of the number of pregnant girls who are sitting in this BECE?
Normally we get the data after they are done. That's when our health education coordinators in the various districts go around and then they give us the specific data. We've recorded few numbers yesterday, but we just started, and so as and when we go for monitoring and then we come out and then the girls coordinators also put together the figures, we'll definitely also give you the specific numbers of those that were pregnant with there.
And we also look at the amount of monies that were charged per student. That's the fees to write a BECE, the registration fees. 305 Ghana cedis was charged per student. WAEC charged 214, and I think 91 Ghana cedis was charged by GES. Is that so? Please correct me if I'm wrong.
BECE, from where I said, as a PR for Ghana Education Service, that we also oversee all the public pre-tertiary schools. These exam fees are absorbed by government, and so no student from our government institutions, our government schools, from the basic schools that we know, none or nobody pays a dime for registration fees. And so I do not know exactly what you are talking about. I'm sure probably you are referring to the private schools, which I won't be able to speak much because they are under National Schools and Secretariat Authority.
Okay, so government schools don't pay, but it's the private schools that pay.
Government schools do not pay for examination fees. The fee is absorbed by government.
Okay. So this amount of money was paid by only private schools.
I suppose so. I'm sure the National Schools and Secretariat Authority will give you details since they oversee the private schools.
Sandra, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Have a good day. Right, Cassandra is the PRO for GES, and she's made us understand, that it's not government school. Government schools don't pay at all. It's completely free.
That's the point I was trying to make earlier,
okay.
that the government pays for all the students in government schools.
Okay.
So it couldn't have been possible, especially for those in the villages. If you can afford to send your child to private school, I can pay last time somebody was complaining, he was paying 9,000 per term for a child. And then you have to pay some little amount also for registration. I don't think you want to put your child home because of that. Critically, I mean, your listeners or your chatters.
My texters, my viewers.
Okay, your viewers.
They are so dear to my heart.
Your viewers. Some of them were trying to just make the point that it's because of hardship and all that. I don't think people want their children to go to free SHS. And if for any reason they will put their children to go to free SHS. I also saw from your reading when President Mahama says he will not cancel free HS is committed. If he's committed, he should get his MPs to approve the bill that will come to Parliament for us to show that he's committed, and when he comes, he's not going to cancel free HS. Because we know that he said not too long ago, if I have 2 billion, I will not put it in free HS. He said it not too long ago. So when did he get a change of heart? If he gets 2 billion, he will not put it in free HS. You understand? When he was president in Ghana, we didn't do free SHS, but we had no power.
There was progressive free education.
Which progressive? Right? Listen, you people go back and read
I'm asking. There was
progressive free education,
yes.
supposed for progressive. Yes. He launched it in my constituency.
Okay.
The first E-block was at Tamil's JHS at Tekumfi. That is the time the headmaster, I forgot his name.
But there was progressive free education.
He said there was. Listen, let me have time, please.
No, we don't have time. We have barely a minute to finish.
They registered 1,000 people from Mekumfi, from Gombwa, from Fantimai, NDC children alone. And they brought all of them, 1,000 people, to start a secondary school. Within a week, they have reduced to about 400 because they were asked to pay fees. The fees they were paying were government was paying for science, water, those things. So he said tuition was free. No. By the next term, the 1,000 had become 100 because a lot of people failed to come back. It was a day school. They told them it would be free. Of course, access was a problem. But the major problem was that now they were demanding a way for them, and they were sacking them from school. They should pay fees. So it wasn't a free SHS. I don't think
so. There's never been a
every government policy. The government policy he launched it. I'm not saying. I said he launched it. I was there when he launched it. But the government fee on progressive free SHS, they were paying 38. Approved 38 Ghana cedis for progressive, for free progressive aid.
Okay, so we're going to our next topic, which happens to be the SNIT conversation. Honorable, unfortunately, I don't have the time. I know. I'll let you come in there because I need to go into my next topic. Else, hair to roll.
Yeah, but you cannot also.
You definitely speak about it. So let's talk about our next topic, which is the SNIT.